anyone who lived through 9/11 knows how different the world is now. The never-ending war on terror, the rise of the security state, and the expansion of mass surveillance are all changes we've been forced to adapt to. But for younger generations, this is just the way things have always been, and privacy almost seems like an archaic concept. My next guest, however, is only 16 years old, yet he's an extremely outspoken activist calling to halt the surveillance state. Here he is confronting Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi about just that.
Why do you support the NSA's illegal and ubiquitous data collection?
Well, I have questions about the metadata collection that they were collecting unless they had a reason to do so.
You did vote for a bill to continue funding for the NSA, though.
Yeah, of course. I don't think we should not fund the National Security Agency. No, they do many things.
Isn't the NSA a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment?
No. Some of what they do should be subjected to scrutiny in some of the things.
That was Andrew Demeter, 16-year-old reporter and filmmaker. Earlier, he joined me on the show to discuss his conversation with Pelosi.
So I was in Washington, D.C. because I had won a competition, a documentary competition that C-SPAN annually hosts called Student Cam. And so C-SPAN flew in the top 5 winners of that competition, myself included. And then one of the events on the itinerary for being in D.C. was meeting with Pelosi. So that was kind of the climax of the trip.
Amazing. And you obviously caught her off guard with your questions. What do you think about what she said about the NSA should be scrutinized, but that they do a lot of great things too, Andrew?
Yeah, I was kind of confused on that, Abby, because she said the NSA does all these great things, but she couldn't really seem to elaborate on what those things were. So I found that kind of troubling, and I also found it funny how she diffused the responsibility from the Obama administration to the Bush administration, although the Bush administration has been, out of office for 6 years now. And I'm not a supporter of the Bush administration, I'm a libertarian, but for her to diffuse responsibility like that when the Patriot Act that Bush signed was essentially the precursor to the NSA now, and she said she didn't support the Bush administration, but now she supports the NSA. It's completely hypocritical.
You're growing up in kind of the post 9/11 era where privacy's already gone, Andrew. Why do you care about it?
Right, that was even one of the talking points on the Bilderberg agenda in Copenhagen. It was, should privacy exist? And I think what Benjamin Franklin said a while ago, a man willing to trade liberty for security is deserving of neither. So I think it's something that we really need to focus on, not only as the youth, but also, humanity as a whole. Why do people put passcodes on their smartphones? Why do they put curtains on their windows? Why do they put up no trespassing signs? Privacy is just something that humanity should have. Whether you have anything nefarious to hide or not, you should be able to, be comfortable in the privacy of your own home or in the privacy of your own thoughts.
I like that you just said that, because we wouldn't just relinquish our passcodes and keys to a stranger on the street, so why are we doing it to an entire government agency? You're also a filmmaker, you're a reporter. You just mentioned that you're in D.C. for the film We the People, Genetically Modified. Amazing. Tell us a little bit more about the film and how you became interested in GMOs in the first place.
Yeah, I became interested in GMOs primarily because of Food Inc., a great documentary on Netflix, and that really woke me up to not only genetic modification, but also the food supply as a whole, the horrors that is the meat industry, really. But I created We the People Genetically Modified, like I said before, for a C-SPAN documentary competition. And why I got really interested, well, I just think food's so vital to humanity as a whole. Everybody relies on food. It transcends all boundaries. Everybody requires food, no matter what religion, culture you're a part of. So, I mean, it seems like this elephant in the room, really. It's right under our noses, but people are completely unaware of what they're eating on a daily basis.
It's a shame, Andrew. You have a YouTube channel called Teen Take. You cover the type of stories that you're not going to see on the corporate press. I doubt you're hearing about this at school, so where are you learning about them?
I really don't know. I mean, it's just, at large, it's been a part of the advent of the internet, really. I mean, 10, 20 years ago, this wouldn't be viable by any stretch of the imagination. But now, with the advent of the internet, the advent of technology, having the power of information in the palm of your hand, literally, and being able to stream video live on the internet and get information as it's happening, I think that's been really helpful and influential in my awakening, as many call it.
A lot of people out there are frustrated about many issues. What advice would you give to young people getting involved, and where can people find out more about your work?
I'd say, you know, just nosedive right into it. There's really nothing to it. Just pick up your cell phone that you'd otherwise be using, Abby, to look at cat pictures on the internet and use that. Go out on the street, just talk to some people. One of my favorite ways to communicate and make videos is to do man-on-the-street interviews. It's one thing to do the armchair activism that I myself do as well, but it's another thing to get up, get off your feet, or get on your feet, rather, and look people in the eye, open up the dialogue, and get them thinking, really. And for me personally, people can find out more about me. You can go to youtube.com/teentake, and you can also go to andrewdemeter.com. Demeter is Demeter.
It really is going to take us getting active, going out there and finally meeting people face to face and finding out how we can get our thoughts on the same page and fight the establishment together. Andrew Demeter, filmmaker, reporter with Teen Take. Amazing to have you on.
Thanks for having me on, Abby.